Yo, yo, yo. What up? What up? What up? My betting family. We back with another video here at No Limit Bets. And in today's video, I'm going to be bringing y'all my top 6 picks for tonight's NBA playoff games. Before we get started though, as always, I would like to say good morning to y'all, good afternoon, whatever time it may be that you're watching this video. Hope y'all having a good one, and hopefully we can make it a better day by winning some money. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's truly appreciated. We're currently on the road to 2,000 subscribers, so I definitely appreciate all the love and support that you guys have shown thus far. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into today's video. Before we get into my top 6 picks, I did just want to do a quick recap of yesterday's slips that we did submit. We had one submitted to our Twitter account, and then the picks that we posted on yesterday's video. Now, to start us off, this first slips here was the one from our Twitter account. We were able to go 4-1. That's back-to-back days with 4-1 slips. As you guys could see, Seth Curry was a DMP. He was available to play, but he wasn't in the rotation in game 3 after being in the rotation in game 1 and 2. The Nets decided to bring Cam Thomas off the bench, make a little adjustment, I guess, bring a little bit more offense to the game off the bench. So they did not play Seth Curry in game 3. And then Embiid, we took his over 3.5 assists. He falls up short with only ending with only 2 assists. Now with this game, Embiid, it was a rough game for him. Obviously, we know what happened with the controversy play where he kicked Claxton, but also throughout the game he was hitting the floor a lot. He left the game for a little bit with a back issue, comes back, falls down again throughout the game, and has his favors his right knee. So it was a rough game for him. He falls up short with his assists, only ends up with 2. Now the 4 that were able to green for us, we had Andrew Wiggins over 24.5 points and rebounds. He gets it done, finishing with 27. We also had Westbrook over 14 rebounds and assists. He pretty much crushes this line, ended with 20. Obviously, he did benefit from the news that Kawhi Leonard was not going to be able to play that came out later in the day. And he gets it done for us. His line did go up once the news came out. I believe it went up to like 15 or 16 rebounds and assists. But either way, he was able to green either of those lines. Then we also had, we took the under on Malik Monk, 16.5 points. He has an off night, only ending with 4. I obviously thought this was going to be a down spot for him, taking us under, but I didn't think he was only going to score 4 points, which definitely worked out in our favors. Thought he was going to be around the 10, 12 point range, but he has a rough game. He only ends up with 4, which definitely, benefited us. And then we also had Chris Paul. We took the under 14 rebounds and assists. He comes close, but comes short and was able to green for us, ending with 13. So 4-1 on our Twitter slips, back-to-back days with 4-1. We definitely want to get that sweep going. And then moving on to our picks that we posted on yesterday's video, back-to-back 3-3 days. This one right here, we definitely should have been a little bit better than 3-3, and I'll explain why. Just to go over the 3 that were able to green for us, we had Steph Curry over 29.5 points. He has a big game, scoring 36. We also took the under Kevin Huerter's 14.5 points. He comes close, but comes up short, only ending with 13. Now, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, for some reason, Huerter struggles at Golden State, and it showed last night. He did have a couple or a few open looks, which he just wasn't able to knock down. Obviously, if he knocks those down, he goes over. But he was able to green for us going under the 14.5 points. And then we had Norman Powell over 14.5 points. This was a major, major discount. Obviously, once the news came out that Kawhi wasn't going to be playing, his line got bumped up all the way to 22 points, I believe, 23 points. But either way, he has a monster game scoring as he ends up with 31 points. Now, to explain the three that weren't able to hit, it was just pretty much unlucky, to be honest. Chris Paul, let's start us there. We took his under 5 rebounds. Now, Chris Paul had 1 rebound heading into the fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter, obviously, he grabs 5 rebounds in that last quarter. There was a possession where he got 2 offensive rebounds, something that you really can't predict, something that I didn't think was gonna happen. And then either way, with 1 minute left in the fourth quarter, he still was only had 4 rebounds with 1 minute left in the game. And he grabs 2 rebounds in the last minute of the game, which is truly, truly unfortunate for us, as he was able to end with 6 rebounds going over. Then we had James Harden over 28.5 points and assists. This one here, I mean, James Harden got ejected in the third quarter due to an unintentional, hit to Royce O'Neal groin area. Definitely didn't think he should have been ejected for that. Maybe a technical foul, maybe a flagrant one, but not an ejection. I mean, James Harden definitely had it rolling up to that point. He had 25 points and assists through 3 quarters until he got ejected. So I obviously and truly believe that had he played the rest of the game, he would have definitely got us, 4 more points and assists. But it is what it is. It was unfortunate he got ejected for an unintentional hit, but that's just the NBA that we have right now. Then lastly, we had Cam Johnson under 23.5 PRAs. If you take away the third quarter, we definitely hit this. Or if you take half of his points away from the third quarter, we definitely hit this. He just had a monster third quarter that pretty much was able to get him over this line. I believe he had 13 points in that third quarter. So it's just unfortunate events, but it is what it is. 3-3 day with our YouTube picks, 4-1 with our Twitter account. So we definitely want to get back, to our winning ways. And let's go ahead and get started with my top 6 picks. For my first pick, we're gonna start us off with the first game of the night, the Celtics against the Hawks. I'm gonna be going to the points and rebounds category, and I'm gonna be taking Jason Tatum over 39.5 points and rebounds. Now in game 1, he did go under, finishing with only 36 points and rebounds. And in game 2, he ended up right on the hook with 39. Now, obviously in game 3, we definitely expect the Hawks to come in as the more hungrier and desperate team. They're definitely going to be, that crowd is definitely going to be hype. But as superstars are capable of doing, or superstars are supposed to do, come playoffs on the road, they step up. As we know, the road players don't play as well on the road versus what they do at home. So I definitely expect Jason Tatum to step up and have a big game here tonight for the Celtics. Now, for the season, the Hawks allowed the 4th most points per game and the 3rd most rebounds per game to opposing power forwards, with the lineup that they've pretty much had the first 2 games of the season, with Robert Williams coming off the bench. Jason Tatum is starting at that power forward position. And over his last 4 games during the regular season against the Hawks, he has hit the over in 3 out of those 4 games. In those 4 games, he's had 48 points and rebounds, 41, 26, and 49. Now, we obviously don't want to see anything close to that 26 number. But in that game, he did have a rough shooting night, only going 6 from 19 from the field. So hopefully we don't get that type of game here tonight, and I don't expect that to be the case. I obviously expect them to have a big game. I expect Tatum to score over 30 points, and obviously rebounding. He's been doing good so far in the first 2 games of the series, hitting double digits assists in both of the first 2 games. So I'm rocking with Jason Tatum over 39.5 points and rebounds for my first pick. Now for my second pick, we're going to go to the Hawks side of things. We're going to go to the points category, and I'm going to be taking the under on Dante Murray's 21.5 points. Now, as you guys can see, he has only hit the over 2 out of his last 5 games, averaging right at this line at 21.8 points per game. The 2 that he did go over were Game 1 and Game 2 of this series. In Game 1, he scores 24 points, and in Game 2, he scores 29. I definitely expect Game 3 to be a down spot scoring-wise for him. As we know, and I just mentioned, the role players tend to play better at home, and I expect that to be the case for guys like DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Bogdanovich, Sadiq Bey, and them boys. I expect them to be better at home versus where they were at Boston the first 2 games of the series. And I believe that's going to take some scoring opportunities away from Murray. I expect him to end somewhere around the 15, 18 point range here tonight. And as we know, the Boston is one of the best defensive teams in the league this season. And this season, they allowed the 4th least points per game to opposing shooting guards. And in 2 games during the regular season against the Celtics, Murray did go under in both of those games, scoring 19 points in one and 14 in the other. So I'm going to be taking Dante Murray under 21.5 points for my second pick. Now for my third pick, we're going to stick to the points prop. We're going to be going down to the next game on the slate, the Knicks against the Cavs. And I'm going to be taking Jalen Brunson. I'm going to be taking the over on Jalen Brunson's 23.5 points. Now, as you guys can see, over his last 5, he's averaging above this line at 26.8 points per game, hitting the over in 3 out of his last 5 games. Now, in Game 1, he did go over, scoring 27 points. But in Game 2, he only scores 20 points on 5 from 17 shooting from the field. In this game, Game 2, the Cavs pretty much blew out the Knicks throughout the game. And on top of that, as I just mentioned, Jalen Brunson did have a rough shooting night. Now, as we saw in the first 2 games, the Knicks offense pretty much just runs through Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle, which are the 2 main players, obviously, on this team. And I expect Brunson to come out here in their first game of the series at home and have a big game and pretty much validate that big contract that the Knicks gave him this offseason. Now, in the 4 games this season versus the Cavs, he averaged 25 points per game above this line. And over the last 7 games, the Cavs are allowing the 4th most points per game to opposing point guards. Now, another thing, this season, he has averaged more points at home, averaging 24.5 points per game at home versus on the road where it drops down, not by much, just a point. As on the road, he averages 23.5 on the road. So all in all, I expect Jalen Brunson to obviously get us at least 24 points here tonight and have a big game. So I'm going to be taking Jalen Brunson over 23.5 points for my third pick. Now, for my fourth pick, we're going to go to the other side of things. We're going to go to the Cavs side. I'm going to go to the PRA category, and I'm going to be taking Donovan Mitchell over 40.5 PRAs. Now, as you guys can see, over his last 5, he's averaging well above this number at 46.6 PRAs per game, hitting the over in 4 out of his last 5 games. The only one that he missed was game 2 of this series, where he only ended up with 32 PRAs. In that game, he was game 2. He was more of a facilitator, as he ended up with, I believe, 13 assists. Didn't score the ball as much as Darius Garland had a role in that game. Now, in game 1, he did go over well above this number with 51 PRAs. So in the 2 games of the series, he's averaging 41.5 PRA, which is just above this number. Now, in 4 games during the regular season versus the Knicks, he did average 44.1 PRAs. And over the last 7 games, the Knicks allowing the 3rd most points per game, the most assists per game, and the 4th most 3-point makes per game to opposing shooting guards. So I definitely expect Donovan Mitchell to have a big game here tonight in game 3. Throughout the season, Donovan has been the Cavs' go-to player on the road. And here tonight in a big game 3 at the Garden, I expect Donovan Mitchell to put on a show, as a lot of superstars tend to do when they play at the Garden. Obviously, we know the Knicks wanted Donovan Mitchell, but ultimately signed Jalen Brunson. I do, think that Donovan Mitchell did want to be a Knick as well. So I definitely expect them to put on a show. We know Donovan Mitchell is capable of scoring, of dropping 40 on any given night, dropping 30. But he has been also averaging in this series. He has been averaging 14 rebounds and assists per game in the first 2 games. So on top of the scoring, he's been able to grab some boards and definitely facilitate the ball, as to why I like his over 40.5 PRAs for my 4th pick. Now, for my 5th pick, we're going to go to the last game on the slate, the Nuggets against the Timberwolves. We're going to go to the points and assists category. I'm going to be going to the Timberwolves side of things, and I'm going to be taking Mike Conley over 19.5 points and assists. Now, in game 1, he did go under with only 11 points and assists. And in game 2, he went over with 21. Now, that game 1, obviously, as we know, they got pretty much the Nuggets blew the Timberwolves out throughout the game, as they were up by as much as 30. So the Timberwolves as a team didn't have a great game that game 1. Also, if we do remember, they had to play 2 play-in games, and they only had 1 day rest going into that game 1. So it could have been because of that, but either way, they got blown out. He only ends up with 11 points and assists, but in game 2, he does go over, and then with 21 points and assists. Now, over the last 10 games of the regular season, he did average above this line at 21.5 points and assists, and averaged 22 points and assists during the play-in games. So he has been pretty much hovering around this line. It is very, very close. There's really no wiggle room to what he's been putting up. He has been above this line, but just by a few points. But I definitely do expect him to at least get 20 points and assists for us, as the Timberwolves are at home. It is a game that they're definitely going to need They don't want to go down 0-3 because, as I mentioned at that point, the series is pretty much over. Now, this season, the Nuggets allowed the sixth most points per game and the third most assists per game to opposing point guards. So this should fare well for Conley here. As I mentioned, he has been pretty much finishing just above this line, but as long as it greens, that's all we care about, and I expect him to do so here in game 3. So I'm going to be rocking with Mike Conley over 19.5 points and assists. Now, for my last pick, we're going to go to the Nuggets side of things, and I'm going to be going to the PRA category, and I'm going to be taking Aaron Gordon over 22.5 PRAs. Now, as you guys could see, over his last 5, he's averaging just above this line at 24.2. He did go over in game 2. He did go over in game 2, but in game 1, he went under, having only 19 PRAs, as I mentioned with the Mike Conley pick. In game 1, the Nuggets were pretty much blew out the Timberwolves in that game 1, as Aaron Gordon only played 23 minutes. In game 2, he did go over as he played 30 minutes in that game. So I expect this obviously not to be a blowout and for Aaron Gordon to get his minutes. Now, in 4 regular season games, or in his last 4 regular season games against the Timberwolves, he has hit this over 3 out of those last 4 games, having 33 PRAs, 34, 16, and 35. Now, also for the season, he is averaging above this line at 25 PRAs. I obviously expect Aaron Gordon to get us at least 23 PRAs, but I think he's going to be a key part to their offense here in game 3. Obviously, we know what he can do as far as in driving to the rim, but he has somewhat developed an outside shot, and he can do a lot of other little things as far as in rebounds, get a couple assists here and there, and I expect him to obviously be a major impact in game 3 for the Nuggets. So I'm going to be taking Aaron Gordon over 22.5 PRAs for my 6th and last pick. Now, just to recap, we're going to be taking the over on Tatum's 39.5 points and rebounds, the under on the Dante Murray's 21.5 points, the over on Jalen Brunson's points, the over on Mitchell's PRAs, the over on Mike Conley's points and assists, and the over on Aaron Gordon's 22.5 PRAs. Now, as always, if you guys agree with any of my plays, please do your own research. Just don't take my word for it. Also, here at No Limit Bets, we like to go with the low risk, high reward. Since we have an odd number here, we're going to be placing a $6.80 entry for the possibility of winning 170. So let's go ahead and place that entry. Also, today is Friday. PrizePicks usually on Friday holds a promotion of a protected flex play. It comes out. They don't start that till like 10:30 in the morning Eastern time. So if they still have that promotion here today, I'm going to be posting my next slip and take advantage of that, and that's going to be over in my Twitter. The link to my Twitter is down in the description, so be on the lookout for that throughout the day. But as always, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the games tonight, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Let's get this money.